seem to be gravitating toward a lower global growth scenario, all inclusive, which is one of the things that I've talked about for several months. That Brexit was one factor in a global storm which is overhung by an enormous amount of debt, which is going to cause global economies to grow at a slower pace that they've been accustomed to for the past several years. And the IMF seems to be on that page now, Brexit notwithstanding. The other interesting, comment that the Prime Minister of the UK made is that they seem to be reluctant to provide some guarantee to the financial sector, and given that the financials in the UK account for around 12% of growth, that's meaningful, and as a result has created some uncertainty with respect to how companies in the financial sector would reposition themselves, whether in the UK or relocate their staff elsewhere. And as you've seen, it continued to put pressure on the British pound. The third interesting point is when you look at Europe versus the UK, there really hasn't been a strong upward move in the euro versus sterling cross rate, and that seems to suggest that as negative as the near-term impact of Brexit appears to be on the UK, the longer-term positioning appears to suggest that the UK may come out stronger, 1 to 2 to 3 years down the road, and the near-term is sort of near-term pain for long-term gain.
Oh, absolutely. I think there is merit in that, Gururaj. It's a transition challenge, and transitions are painful. So I think that's what the market would be adjusting to in the interim. But since you're looking at macros and you essentially look at portfolio positions there, and I don't know how much would you be able to comment on the equity relation to macros, but we've seen the pound go one way and the equity market in the UK go another. And generally, currency markets and equity markets work in tandem. This is an issue that impacts markets at large across asset classes. So I want to understand this whole divergence, so to speak, in trades within the UK market, within the UK region.
Sure, and you're absolutely correct. Typically, capital flows drive both the currency and other asset markets within the country. What happens occasionally, and there's quite a bit of historical evidence to support this, is in situations in which there's a feeling within a country that there's a necessity for a hedge against a currency risk, capital tends to flow into those assets which are quite liquid and would benefit from a weakening currency. In the UK, the equity market, certainly the exporters will benefit from a weakening pound, and they've helped lead the rally in the equity market. So it doesn't happen often. The situation where both the currency and the equity market would fall substantially would be if the interest rates in the UK backed up quite markedly, given what's happening. But since they've been relatively steady, and in fact, in many cases, yields have come down, that's helped support it, an equity market rise despite the currency fall. So the equity market is effectively acting as a hedge against the weakening currency.
Thanks, Gururaj, for joining us and giving us your views on the global market trends and the positioning thereof. Coming back home, in what's clearly a real geo-impact, India's second largest telco, Vodafone, which recently raised $7 billion in equity from its parent, may be the most aggressive in the ongoing spectrum auctions. Gauri Dwivedi joins us with details. Gauri, tell all, what's the strategy that Vodafone is adopting?
By the looks of it, sources tell us that Vodafone may in fact be be the most aggressive bidder in the auctions right now. In fact, at the end of day 3, the payouts that sources tell us actually indicate that Vodafone may be the highest bidder right now at upwards of 17,000 odd crore rupees. Next up is Reliance Jio, which is at about 16,000 crore rupees, and followed by Idea Cellular at 15,000 crore rupees. It's important to note that even last year, the payouts that were there, Idea Cellular did make a very, very strong payout to the government in terms of renewal of its spectrum. But this time around it is Vodafone. One also needs to put it in the context of the fact that Vodafone recently raised $7 billion from its parent in 2 tranches in terms of equity. Obviously, that money needs to be deployed. And it's also important to note that when you raise $7 billion of equity, you will raise multiple of that in terms of debt. So the overall size of funds that the company can pump in its India operations is very, very sizable. A lot of that, of course, will go into spectrum acquisition, and that is exactly what is happening. In fact, sources tell us that it is upwards of 17,000 crore rupees right now. The overall government proceeds stand right now at about 60,000 odd crore rupees. As far as the government targets are concerned, the DOT's internal target from spectrum sale proceeds for FY17 is at 25,000 crore rupees, and looks like that may in fact be achieved. Remains to be seen when these auctions will close. But as far as 700 megahertz is concerned, no takers, as the pricing has been completely rejected by the industry.
Thanks, Dory, for that. We'll take a short break right now, but when we come back, focus on national stories.
जिंदगी की नई पहल शुरू कर्ल ऑन से, एक नई जिंदगी भी शुरू यहीं से, जिंदगी की एक और पहल भी शुरू कर्ल ऑन से, हर एहसास शुरू कर्ल ऑन से। कर्ल ऑन, India's largest selling mattress.
Invest Madhya Pradesh will showcase the strengths and industrial prowess of Madhya Pradesh. Multiple investment and growth opportunities across various sectors await you. With first of its kind single table system for clearing investment proposals. Madhya Pradesh is amongst the top 5 Indian states in ease of doing business. Consistent double-digit growth, stable government with visionary leadership, investment-friendly policies and unmatched location advantage make Madhya Pradesh a land of opportunity. Welcome to the Global Investor Summit 22nd and 23rd October 2016. To participate, register on www.investmp.com.
Hey guys, Oyo Hotel. Hey, winners. First time in India, सिर्फ Oyo download के साथ early check-in guaranteed. कहीं निकल चले.
Stock holding. We look after everything.
Want to invest in mutual funds? We distribute them. Stock holding. We look after everything. Call 1800-229960.
Mutual fund investment are subject to market risk. Read the offer document carefully before investing.
Sorry, I'm late. क्या हुआ?
कुछ नहीं यार. Just working on my expansion plan.
Funding का चक्कर.
It is so frustrating. I feel like banging my head against the wall.
No, don't bang your head. Cross the bridge instead.
Bridge?
हाँ, ये देख. ला.
अरे.
This bridge gets you in touch with interested investors. Funding happens, which means more outlets, more customers.
Interesting. And what exactly is this bridge?
A stock exchange created for your kind of company. Just list on it and help your business expand.
Really?
Yeah.
तो फिर लिस्ट कर लूं?
और क्या? शुभ काम में देर किस बात की? चल.
हाँ.
NSE Merge. साथ हमारा, सफलता आपकी. The SME Growth Platform from India's largest stock exchange.
Welcome back. You're still watching Smart Markets right here on ETNow, and as promised before the break, time to get a quick roundup of all the top stories that are making headlines nationally, and we have Krishna Kumar, my colleague, joining us for just that. Krishna.
Thank you, Tanvi. Time now for Nation Now and all that's making news outside of the markets, where it close to a national outrage after senior Congress leader Sanjay Nirupam questioned the authenticity of India's surgical strikes on Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Nirupam bluntly called the attack fake, floated by the BJP to extract political mileage. Nirupam's comments come a day after Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal urged the Prime Minister to expose Pakistan and submit proof of the strike to the circumspect foreign media houses. Now, these comments have drawn immense backlash, with the BJP asking the opposition to not mix politics with matters of national security. Furious BJP workers have also staged protests right outside Kejriwal's residence. Meanwhile, it is Home Minister Rajnath Singh's second day in Kashmir, and the minister has found himself in Kargil today, where he paid homage to Indian soldiers martyred in the 1999 war and called respect for the Indian Army from every citizen. Out to seek peace and stability in the region, Singh also met with an all-party delegation and various local stakeholders to share out their demands. And that's all on Nation Now. Back to you, Tanveer.
Thanks very much for that, Krishna. With that, we come to the end of this edition of Smart Markets. After a very short break, India Tonight comes up next.
जिंदगी की नई पहल शुरू कर्ल से। एक नई जिंदगी भी शुरू यहीं से। जिंदगी की एक और पहल भी शुरू कर्ल से। हर एहसास शुरू कर्ल से। कर्ल इंडियाज लार्जेस्ट सेलिंग मैट्रेस।
जरा नजरों से क्या करें? अब बिजनेस में हर काम टीवी पर ऐड चलाने जितना आसान तो नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन आप बेफिक्र रहिए। लॉग इन कीजिए www.amagimix.com पर और 5 आसान स्टेप्स में चलाइए अपने एड्स। अमागी, बड़ा सोचो, टीवी सोचो।
रोशनी का सिर्फ एक ही नाम, सूर्य। सूर्य LED, खर्चा कम, चले ज्यादा, घर घर रोशनी का वादा। सूर्य।
Your turn, Mr. Ashwin. ATM Test Series, India versus New Zealand starts 22nd September.
बर्फ देखनी है? कहाँ? इग्लू में। इग्लू? यहाँ? हाँ, चल मेरे साथ।
एक अनदेखा सा सपना, एक बिन सोचा सा सपना, देखे धीमे धीमे भोले नैना। कोई दिल को लेके जाए ऐसी दुनिया में आज, ख्वाबों के कतरों का यूं हौले से छू जाना। जी चाहे इसे महसूस करना, आंखों में उतर गया।
Feel the picture with Quantum Dot Technology.
At 8 p.m, the talk is all about the markets.
The hits and the misses.
The ups and the downs.
What news is moving the stock?
And what's shaping trade.
Stay one step ahead of the market.
Catch Smart Markets
only on ETNow.
ETNow is the undisputed leader in English business news.
The outcome of the SEBI meet, A, that they've given a nod to REITs as well as InvITs, and B, that FPIs are going to be allowed to invest in bond markets.
It is the big news which is going to change things dramatically.
Investors track every market move only on ETNow.
If something happens in US, interest rates go up more than what the markets are discounting, it can lead to a small correction. It can lead to a short-term correction.
First with big policy breaks. First with news that shapes your world.
Earlier it was a fragmented kind of thing. There was a separate railway budget, there was a general budget. Now it will enable us to take a comprehensive view of the whole thing.
And when India Inc. rides the wave of change, they trust only ETNow.
I think we need to lower down. There needs to be a dialogue. People need to sit together. And I can assure you, through you, your medium, that points of interconnect will never be an issue.
Markets, business, politics, policy. Always first, always right. ETNow, the best in business.
RBI Governor Urjit Patel surprises the street and economists alike, announces a 25 basis point cut in benchmark interest rate in his maiden monetary policy under the new MPC regime. Growth gets stopped billing even as inflation risks remain. breather for banks on the NPA front. Governor Patel gives more headroom for banks in dealing with NPA, says the central bank is working closely with the government on the bad loan menace and will release a new set of norms by the month end. The rate cut lights up the street. The Nifty ends above 8750, led by brisk buying in banks on expectations of more rate cuts. The Sensex also soars soon after the rate cut, but cools off a little bit due to profit booking. Mid